Preacherman. Everybody knew Preacher. You could see him on any given day standing on the corner of Oak and State, Mill and South Main Street, passing out numbers, scriptures, asking for donations. The donations? A small portion was kept by the preacher for his needs, but the lion's share went to others for their needs.
The kind of heart that Preacherman had. There was a time we were at his sister's house, Michelle, and you know, him being on the street and you know, asking for money. The time we were at Michelle's house, my cousin Kim's son had came up. We were over there, and you know, you're thinking he doesn't have any money. He came back. He knew we were all over there. We were having fun. My cousin Kim's boys were up here from Boston. He came back with a 6-pack of beer and was like, "Here, this is for y'all. Have fun."
So I remember your grandfather as Randolph, and he used to come to Reed Village when we used to live in a village because he was pretty close to my mom, and he used to always bring his dog with him, and every time he came we were so excited. We'd be like, "Oh my God, Randolph is here with the dog." Yeah, you know, and you know, just running up to him and everything, but he was always really nice. And I remember him too as Tar Baby, because he used to deal with the kids, you know, with with like baseball teams and stuff in Magazine Park. I remember that.
All right, so this is a time when it was me and my brother and my dad, and we used to be like, "Yo, Dad, we're hungry. Let's go to Burger King on State Street." So we go to Burger King. We walk in, and I look back. It's Preacherman. I said, "Oh, what's up, Granddad?" Dap him up and give him a hug. He said, "Where's your mama at?" I said, "She at home. I'm with my dad." And Bryce came out the bathroom. He's like, "Oh, look at Granddad." Give him a hug. Then I guess we looked up, and the cashier at Burger King, he was like, "Yo, Preacher, you want a burger?" And Preacher was like, "Yeah, but I don't got money." And he went and grabbed the burger and threw it at Preacherman. He said, "Here." And he was like, "Thank you." He was like, "It's all the love, all the love."
Well, it hurt me so bad, yeah, to hear the man I missed you say goodbye. I've seen a friend talk for me. She said I did the best I could. I lied like a dog for you. I just couldn't do you no good. That's why I hit the back street, yeah, just as drunk as I could be. The man I had miss you.
Like I said, I really didn't know Preacherman as much as everybody else knew him. I just knew him. I was giving me tickets every time he see me. He gave me a couple of tickets one time. I played. I missed by one number. Then the one I supposed to play, I never played, and the number came out. So if I would listen to him, you never knew. I probably wouldn't be here right now. I probably be made man right now, you know. But he never said nothing bad to me. Never said nothing bad to my kids when I was with. He always treated everybody with mad respect. So I guess that's why the neighborhood loved him, you know. He was a real good dude. The little time I did know him, I ain't know him much, but the little time I did meet him, he was a good dude to me. So.
Born Randolph H. Lester in a small town in Georgia, Preacher was a man's man.
Now this is a story. I went in the military when I was 17 years old. I graduated on June 7th. I went in the military on June 9th. So after being in the military probably for a month, and my dad was on his way to Florida. And so he came down. I was in Fort Dix, New Jersey. He came down there on his way to Florida. And he came down there, and I don't know how he found me, but he found me, and he walked in the barracks, and he walked right past the drill sergeants and to where I was. and you know, he was a big dude. He was a big dude with a voice. So he could build a drill sergeant. He had a drill sergeant voice. So I thought he was coming to get me because I wanted to get out of the military at that time. But unfortunately, he didn't. He told me I had to stay there. That was probably the best decision that he could ever made that affect my life.
He was a survivalist. A preacher was a man's man, a survivalist. But his heart was for the people.
What you say?
Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more.
I met Preacherman on my way to school one day. He was outside with his singing group singing his song. So I looked at him and I said, what the hell is he doing? Right? So he said to me, he says, come here, lady. He says, you know what? You're a pretty little girl. I said, really? He said, can I get your phone number and your name? I said, of course. Never thinking that I was going to hear from him that same night.
I hear her on my door in the evening when the sun go down, when there is nobody else around.
So he called me the same night and asked me that I want to go for a
Tell
ride.
me that everything's all right.
So I was thinking to myself, now do I really want to get in the car with this dude by myself? You know? So we went to he rode me around Bay Street, Oak Street, and we kind of like hit it off. I thought there was something strange though going with him, but I got in the car and like I said, we rode around, we smoked a couple of cigarettes and had a few drinks and stuff, and then he got kind of boring. So I said, you know, I think you need to take me home. Right? So we went home the next day. I got ready to come out my house to go to school, and there he was in front of my house waiting for me to give me a ride to school.
Well, I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh yeah, say I got a woman way over town, good to me. Oh yeah, she give me money when I'm in need. Yeah, she's a kind of friend indeed. I got a woman way over town that's good to me.
So he gave me a ride to school.
Oh, yeah.
The school day went on. I got ready to come out of school. I looked outside. There he was, out in the front of the school, waiting to give me a ride home. And each and every day from that day on, he took me to school in the morning and he picked me up to make sure I got home.
So, I remember one day, it was me, my mom, my brother, and I think it was my grandma. We was sitting on the corner of State and Oak talking to Granddad, and he gave my mom like 2 tickets. And as we were gonna pull off, you know how he has his little cup of money. As we were gonna pull off, I had the back window was down, and he dumped a cup of money into my lap. So I sat around with a pool of coins sitting right between my legs. And that honestly made my week, you know. Like,
So you tell me all the money
yeah, he took his little share out and then dumped it in my lap.
By the time I learned my lesson,
I remember one day I was hanging out with my friends. This was like, I don't know, I was in high school. And we were drinking. We went to a bar. And we're not going to discuss that.
and cried.
And we went to a bar. It was called Kerrigan's. And we used to like hang out there and drink there sometimes. And we went there and we seen Preacherman. And we were playing pool. And he swore he could beat everybody. So he came over and kind of like took over our game and introduced himself. And we were like dancing and laughing and talking. And he bought us drinks. and then he made us buy him drinks. But it was nice. He had fun, and then he gave me like these this like paper with these numbers on it to play the lottery, and I didn't play it, and the numbers came out the next day. I was upset, but we had a lot of times. I used to have a video, I don't know where it is, but we had fun. He's a nice guy. He's very caring and just like always make sure you're like good. It's not like, I don't know, he's cool. We have fun.
I don't have so many stories. I mean, I always see my grandfather. Whenever I see him, he always know who I am, Bobby, and I always show him love. He show me love. But back in the younger days, when I was a little younger and a little bit more immature, I remember coming out, first driving on the PBTA bus, and I would be coming from high school, so I must have been maybe 13. And we would be on the bus. I'm in the back of the bus. I hear the voice. I hear that deep voice, and then I see my tall grandfather coming up. And I jump off the back while he comes up the front. And, you know, over time, I shouldn't have been, like, so embarrassed. It was just the immaturity. But after a little while, I realized how respected he was and how he wasn't really bothering nobody. And everybody loved him. So that was a good thing. But another thing in running, we used to always be on Tyler Street. My dad always brought us out to the cookouts or just to get together with the family on Tyler in the White House. We'll always remember that. And they had some bushes. And I remember when he came around, all of us ran in the bushes. We were just hiding. And he always found us. But every time he found us, like I said, he didn't do anything bad. It was just funny. He just made us laugh. So I always remember them stories of running from Preacherman to y'all, but running from my granddad. He was tall, he had a deep voice, and that's just all I remember. Just that tall with a deep voice coming around. You know what I mean? And then after some time, when, you know, I don't know if, well, it is part of his life. It did happen in Springfield. Somebody threw acid in his face, and it hit his eyes. And yes, so somebody had threw acid at him, at my grandfather, and it hit him in the face, and it messed up his eye. And that is how his eye got like that. But even though I knew that, it still also scared me a little bit too. I don't remember exactly how old I was when that happened. I don't remember. I just know it was in my younger days. But he never scared us intentionally. Okay? Never scared. We were just like young and immature. You know what I mean? But as growing up, it's weird because we were a little bit scared of him, but my kids coming up were never scared of him. And they, you know, maybe because we knew him before his eyes was like that, and then, you know, we had this kind of reintroduce ourselves to that part, but my kids were never, ever, ever scared of him. Actually, they just show love every time they see them. And he would give them money, I would give him money, and he would give them money. But I thought it was so cool because he actually, I seen him giving it back out.
They call him Preacherman for a reason. You know, he's out there in Springfield. He was out there in Springfield collecting his, collecting his tithes and offerings, and then he'll be out there. That basically that's what I'll say, tithes and offerings, because he'll turn around, and if somebody else needs that money, he'll turn around and he'll give it to them. So, I mean, basically, he was out there doing his little collections, but it wasn't all for him. Like my son said earlier, as we were pulling off, he poured the whole cup of change into the car for his grandkids, for his great-grandkids.
The whole cup? The whole cup.
After he got the, you know, a couple bills out. Like you said.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everything gonna be all right this morning. Oh yeah. Woo! Yeah. Now when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive. But now I'm a man, way past 21. I want you to believe me, baby, I have lots of fun. I'm a man, I spend